Tony Jones here, Rhode Island Free Radio, online at rifreeradio.org. We are broadcasting live from the Fatt Squirrel. It is Providence, Rhode Island. My old pal, Pat, the P.O., Taxpayer Ford, from the Coalition, online at coalitionradio.us. He is here, and of course, we are at the Cannabis Meetup, the second Cannabis Meetup now. Pat, last time we did one of these, for the first time in Coalition history, I had to click on the explicit content button when I published your podcast.
So in other words, I need to refrain from saying, fuck you, Gina Raimondo. I shouldn't say that ever again? Was it the fuck? Was it the you? Was it the Gina or the Raimondo part
hey, listen,
that you found offensive?
I didn't find it offensive whatsoever.
Let's be nice to Gina. Let's really give the big fuck you to who needs it. Jim Skeffington and company. Let's all raise our glasses.
To Skeffco.
To Skeffco.
To Skeffonomics.
And if you're a Simpsons fan, you'll understand this reference. Monorail.
Monorail.
It was a tumultuous week in Coalition land, wasn't it, Tony Jones?
Well, you have your loyal shut-in listeners who are awake at your given time slot, and you got them all
meaning
riled
not
up.
you, Tony.
You got them all riled up.
Well, we seem to have touched a raw nerve here in Rhode State government. Folks be freaking about dropping 120 million large on a stadium that no one's going to go to. We call it Skeffonomics, which, of course, is the art and the science of investing massive quantities of governmental money into a declining AAA ballpark, while at the same time surrounded by inordinate poverty, broken schools, declining infrastructure, and essentially a general sense of malaise. Am I being cynical, Dave?
No, I don't think that's cynical at all. I think that's realism.
Right. There are a handful of people that seem to think that we're vilifying, turning Mr. Skeffington into sort of a Rhode Island version of Snidely Whiplash.
Or C. Montgomery Burns. Or Supreme Chancellor Palpatine.
What do you think, folks? All right. Which are, sort of the Saddam Hussein of Rhode Island?
Well, I don't think he's going to gas anybody to get his way, but yeah, we're approaching Saddam Hussein.
There's a few members of the GA seem to be under the we're finding out all sorts of things. Vast campaign contributions to the ruling elite who claim to be progressive. We're finding out that his law firm is simultaneously the law firm for the I-195, while at the same time trying to be the law firm for his own personal interests, which, of course, doesn't exactly break the mold, because, according to published reports, he was on both sides of the convention center. You never have to worry about having a three-way with Jim Skeffington. It's only you, him, and him. I think they call that a corporate...
The beauty of sex with an economic schizophrenic.
Right. You're never alone.
It's always a three-way, possibly more.
Yep. You're never alone. So, and to quote a certain Michael Douglas character, greed is good, I guess. When is enough?
I was going to go with falling down. I'm going to see my son.
I will usually refer to the scene in the hamburger joint. What was it? All he wanted was. Yeah. Again, when is enough enough? This gentleman, and I use that term loosely, has spent a lifetime making his personal fortune literally on the backs of Rhode Islanders, and yet somehow we're not supposed to vilify that.
Well, and the thing is, people are vilifying us for the personal attacks against these folks, and my argument is, how can we not caricaturize them when they've already made caricatures of themselves?
Well, and if someone broke into your apartment, and let's just say you'd script and save to get one of those new flat screen TVs, and about a month after you got it, you were getting cozy, you had your man cave going on, all right? God only knows what doing what, but all of a sudden someone broke in and stole it. You'd take that poisonally, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So this guy's okay. because he wears an expensive suit, which, by the way, we fucking paid for.
Right, and he doesn't fleece individual people. He fleeces the entire population.
Right. This guy is a one-man
He spreads the love, if you will.
This guy is a one-man financial genocide. Hoochie Coochie.
Well, I put it on the blog this week, and I think this is a great way to put it. Do these people do they think that we've succumbed to economic Stockholm syndrome and we're beginning to identify with our financial captors?
Right. Well, here's the ironic part. We do owe Skeffonomics, Big Jimbo, we do owe him one debt of gratitude. Because what this individual has managed to do in one fell swoop, in a matter of few weeks, is wipe away 20 years of mutual mistrust between warring clans of political activists, and we are veritably singing our own fucking version of We Are the World.
Strange bedfellows, once again.
We are checking our prejudices, our petty squabbles, our years of illogical grievances at the door, and we're saying, Monday afternoon, you got the potential to see the head of the Tea Party standing on the same stage or the same slice of pavement as the gentleman who runs DARE. You've got the potential to see the head of the Rhode Island Republican Party chilling with Greg Garrett.
Wait, there's still a Rhode Island Republican Party?
Just don't ask Newberry.
We're taking it upscale this week, all right? Notice I'm not making any Doreen Costa jokes, okay? So, they've managed to create...
didn't you just make a Doreen Costa joke?
Oops. Sorry. I don't think she's listening. Anyway, you've got a degree of political unanimity not seen in this state in generations. The oppressed, which is everybody besides Jim Skeffington. So there's 900 in his mind. There's 999,999 targets in this state.
No, let's be fair. It's like a little over 1 million people.
Okay. Understand that for the Jim
versus Jim Skeffington.
For the Jim Skeffingtons of the world, you are not an individual. You are not a citizen with rights. You are simply an object with a barcode. And the whole point is for you to be scanned into the great card reader in the sky that Mr. Skeffington operates. You are not an individual. You are a revenue opportunity, all right, waiting to be cashed in at the altar of Skeffco. That's what you are, Dave Fisher.
Yeah, that's right. You are merely input, output.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, and one of my big issues this week has been the idea for the people who are in support in any way of putting this stadium in Providence, and we touched on it on the show last week. There are opportunities for Pawtucket outside of AAA baseball. Okay,
right.
McCoy will not remain fallow for long, given the resurgence of AA and under baseball across New England, across the country. It's not going to happen. But my biggest problem, aside from the $120 million state tax dollar outlay to Skeffco and the stadium, is it is indicative of the failed Providence-centric economic development plan that this state continues to cling to, that has cost cities like Woonsocket, Pawtucket, Central Falls, rural communities like Scituate, Gloucester, has cost them in the long run. And I think that this just has to stop. We can't just put everything cool in Providence, because we might as well rename the state Providence and Plantations, because the rest of the state is being sold into economic slavery.
Right.
Exactly. Now, you in a sense, you've got this flat Earth society, except in this case, Providence is the flat square, and on the edges, you've got barely holding on to life cities like Mooney, cities like the Bucket, cities like Seattle, who are, despite the best efforts of the ruling regime, the Elorzaistas, if you will, of the world, who see nothing but but a gigantic vacuum clean sucking the fiscal, the moral, the philosophical, the financial health out of the rest of the state. It's astonishing to watch. It's like you're inhabiting your own personal driver's ed movie, except you wake up from the stupor and realize that you're in the passenger seat, about to hit the guardrail. It's somehow enervating self-effacing and disgusting at the same time.
Well, and I'm reminded of that wonderful Dead Kennedy song, California Uber Alles, right? Now it is 1984. Knock, knock at your front door. It's the suede denim secret police, and they have come for your uncool niece.
But, to quote the theme song of the coalition, despite their best efforts, you might try to kill the protest, but you can't kill the protest, can you?
No,
Which, by the way, Anti-Flag is coming to town in a few weeks' time.
You can kill the protester, but you cannot kill the protest.
Anti-Flag will be in this very city in a few weeks' time at Simon 677, mere steps from Iron Horse Way. We can get them to play the protest.
That would be awesome. Can we do that? Do we have the juice to do that?
I think we're still trying to find the juice to run a couple microphones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, folks, if somehow the major media trips over themselves and walks 7 to 8 feet away from the meeting on Monday, you'll see our hardy little band. And if you see megaphones, it's not because we're trying to make an outre scene out of a post 50s protest. That's all we could really swing.
Now, in Providence, you are supposed to procure a permit to run a megaphone, so you could run into some problems.
Well, I think the point of what we're doing on Monday is less of, a traditional press conference. We want people to come down and protest and say, enough. These are the conservative business leaders who rant and rail against the, quote, welfare state when it comes to social programs, but are more than willing to sit back and try to fleece the taxpayer of this state out of 120, 124, 200, 500, like whatever they can get. They're willing to take the welfare on that scale, but somehow, the mother of four trying to pay for food on the table for her kids is the problem.
It's socialized baseball.
Yeah. And I would rather see the state buy the Paw Sox for $25 million, which would be a $5 million profit for the new ownership team. They just paid $20 million for the team. And we, the people of Rhode Island, own the Pawtucket Red Sox. I think that would put more asses in the seats at McCoy.
Especially if we made the state reps go out there and play ball.
Hey, how about this? And this is coming from a libertarian.
And if we could go out there and beat them.
How about this coming from a libertarian? Can we declare eminent domain on the Pawtucket Red Sox?
I don't know. Do we emotionally own the Pawtucket Red Sox?
I'm a Yankees fan. I wouldn't know.
Oh, Pat.
Now,
Pat.
Is there a fanboy aspect to this like there was for 38 Studios? Now, you guys all know that I'm not a sports guy, and especially I just find baseball terribly boring. Is there a fanboy aspect to this like with 38 Studios, you think?
It definitely has the potential to kick in during Monday's meeting because allegedly Larry Lucchino, who is the president of the Boston Red Sox, will be appearing at this meeting.
Are they going to kiss his ring?
Yeah, I mean, so I assume that every hack, who may own a pizza parlor in Coventry, Rhode Island, just hypothetically, of course, will be looking to suck emotional face with him.
From the media standpoint, I mean, Ian Donis from Rhode Island Public Radio is going to be like salivating that Larry Lucchino is in Providence because and I understand that. I mean, I'm not a sports guy either, but I'll tell you something. I went to my first game at Fenway at 4 years old. Being a Red Sox fan is almost genetic for me. I was at McCoy last weekend, and I'll tell you right now, I had a great time at McCoy. I took my nieces there. I was talking to my nieces about how the game of baseball is played.
Did they stay awake during that?
Oh, they were awesome. Me and my friend, we thought the girls wouldn't make it through 4 innings. We made it to like the 8.5 inning. Granted, the girls were like shoving popcorn down my shirt in the 6th, but they had a good time. And on the way home, I was quizzing them on okay, How many baseball players are on the field, and what are their names? What is it? What does it take?